Hey guys, this is a market update, and we've had the biggest news for Bitcoin in its entire history yesterday, and the price went down. What on earth is going on with the price of Bitcoin? Considering we broke out of the range, low CPI figures came in and broke us out, and this news as well, literally the biggest news in Bitcoin's history. Both of these not enough to actually see Bitcoin climb out of this range. So let's talk about that, and I want to talk about the Ethereum merge, which is actually the trade right now that everyone's in. Should you get into that, or should you actually be a little bit bearish on that? Because essentially that is the most telegraphed trade in history for Ethereum. So when it comes to the Bitcoin price, as you've seen in previous market update videos, we've been tracking this ascending triangle for a very long time. And so this has been the trade for Bitcoin, maybe a breakout of this range from those low CPI figures, which we got. But you can see that a lot of this volatility before that number, yes, the price did break out of the range and it got to around 25,000, but it sold off again, and we're just seeing not really as much exuberance in the Bitcoin price at the moment. I actually think that's not a terrible thing, to be honest. Some amount of time around these levels, kind of making the support and resistance levels at around 25,000 a little bit more solid is probably a good thing, right? If we get another very quick move to the upside, then you're starting to worry about, well, there's just not enough time down at these levels to kind of give a very strong support level. So this is all right, but I think the reason why we're not seeing a much higher trade in Bitcoin is because really most traders are going onto the Ethereum trade right now, and the charts play it out as well. So we're going to get onto that. Before we get onto the BlackRock news, if you want to trade on Bybit, I'll leave the link in the description to a deposit bonus. Deposit crypto or fiat on the platform, you get up to $4,000 as a deposit bonus in your futures trading account. So if you trade futures, check that out. With BlackRock, though, this news is absolutely mind-blowing, and the people trading Bitcoin right now don't really care or possibly understand the gravitas of this news. BlackRock's the world's biggest asset manager, almost $10 trillion of assets under management. It's not the size of that. It's just the message that it gives people that understand what's happening here. If BlackRock offer this, everyone else has to offer this as well. The reason BlackRock are offering it is because they have demand for it. This is the biggest long-term catalyst for Bitcoin. If you are a long-term holder and you're worried about, is Bitcoin going to keep moving up the ranks in terms of investment grade institutional asset? This is the answer. There is nothing bigger than this in terms of making Bitcoin truly on the same footing as anything else, right? Equities, ETFs, gold. This is an investment grade asset that BlackRock is now offering. Fidelity, all of the other big institutions have to now compete and offer Bitcoin services to their clients. The big thing here, though, is despite the steep downturn in the digital asset market, we are still seeing substantial interest from some institutional clients in how to efficiently and cost-effectively access these assets using our technology and product capabilities. There is massive institutional demand for Bitcoin. This is a good thing. Now, this isn't going to play out. This is not like a 5 or 10 or 20% pump, all of those narratives that are in the past. This is, if you're a long-term investor, the best news, because this will just create a solid base of institutional demand for Bitcoin. BlackRock have a bad reputation for many reasons, but the fact is, if you're invested in Bitcoin, you want your investment to rise in value. Well, this is the end game for that. Institutions getting in, and that's it. The real trade for the short term, though, is the Ethereum merge, and we now have a date for this. And I'm going to show you the ETH BTC chart, which is just ranging and reaching kind of previous resistance. We now have an official date for the merge. It's actually happening. There are no more test nets. It's actually going to happen next month. Ethereum developers discuss potential dates for the long-awaited merge when the Ethereum blockchain makes its move to proof of stake from proof of work during a consensus layer call Thursday. A document circulated among Ethereum developers during the call that showed there could be several scenarios for when the merge on Ethereum mainnet might occur. Likely dates include September 15, 16, or 20. Well, we can actually see when it's going to occur via this link right here. I'll try and link this in the description. This will have a rough date for when the merge happens, and you can see right now it's coming around about the 15th. It's going to change because of how the hash rate changes over time, but it's going to be on that date. This is it. It's actually happening. There are no pushbacks or anything. So this is obviously an incredibly important trading scenario for Ethereum. I just want to highlight why this is important again. Ethereum is switching to essentially being a yield producing and a yield bearing asset. That's very different to Bitcoin, which is not those things. It's a store of value, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't pay you a yield, and it doesn't reduce its supply over time. Now, Ethereum will do both of those things after the Ethereum merge. And so if you hold Ethereum and you stake it, or you buy one of the staking derivatives like staked ETH or Rocket Pool ETH, you get some benefits as an investor. The first one is that ETH burns tokens every block with fees paid, and fees paid are quite high. And so essentially it's like a share buyback, except it's a token buyback that happens in real time based on what the profits of the protocol are. So some of the fees that are paid will be used to burn ETH and take it out of circulation, the same as a stock buyback. You can see that the cumulative value of burned ETH after the EIP 1559 upgrade going up. Now, the more the ETH is used, and during bull markets when more gas is paid, this will be higher. And during bear markets or period of less demand, this will be lower. So I do think that Ethereum will be more of a reflexive type of currency. So during the bear markets, you can actually see slightly less burned or even more supply. And then during bull markets, it may really rocket up because you're basically getting a structural demand buyer of ETH through fees. And so if you're bullish on ETH growing as an ecosystem, you think more people are going to use it, more people are going to pay fees on that, then this upgrade and the move to proof of stake essentially creates structural demand in the token to take supply out of existence. And that is essentially returning value from fees to stakers or holders. The other thing is that it just pays a yield out from some of those fees. And so the current yield for staked ETH is around 4 or 5%. That may go up after the merge as well. So you're getting tokens paid to you from those fees as well. Rather than miners getting those, you get it as a staker. People like that, investors like that. And you can see that the Ether supply growth chart here is obviously going up. After the merge, that is expected to be mostly flat or even decline. What that means is that there'll be fewer tokens over time because the fees paid used to take some of those tokens out of existence. This is the ETH Bitcoin chart. And again, if you've watched market updates in the past, we've been seeing this chart ever since about this level right here, saying, well, we're going to break through some resistance levels. So this orange line is the long-term uptrend for the value of ETH against Bitcoin. ETH is gaining value in relation to Bitcoin over the long term. And we've seen this support level just get completely blown out of the water. We have now blasted through this resistance level right here. And now we're just really ranging up to a new resistance level. I would put this on the chart right here as an important level as well. You can see that from previous resistance levels and support levels. So again, right here at 79 or 0.08, that is a resistance level. But I would fully suspect that Ethereum is just going to continue to potentially come and test this all-time high. If the merge cannot push ETH to an all-time high in terms of its relation to Bitcoin, then what will? If you are trying to trade the merge short term, then I would say we're only 5 or 6 weeks away. And so there are really only two levels to look for, which are these two right here in terms of resistance levels. The trade was really getting in anywhere around this level. So we're getting a much more mature trade here. There's a lot of people in this trade. The herd is in the trade. And so that's something that I always back away from in terms of trying to get in too late and at a too high a price. But if the merge goes successfully, I cannot see any other potential probability than it just reaching for these kind of previous all-time highs in relation to the price of Bitcoin over the short term. But there may be a huge dump as well after it goes through where, people are kind of trading in and out and saying, I was in for that trade and I'm going to take my profits. So yeah, a lot of volatility around the merge definitely coming. If you want to check out Bybit and get that deposit bonus, I'll leave that link in the description, up to $4,000 if you deposit crypto or fiat on the platform. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching and I'll see you in the next one.